Hi everyone, thank you so much for clicking on this video. If you are new here, welcome to this fun, informative, positive, quirky channel where I discuss all things lifestyle. Please feel free to subscribe and join the tribe. And if you are a returning subscriber, I genuinely appreciate you so much. Thank you for continuing to support this channel. Oh, you're so cute. To be a financial video. I'm breaking down all the costs associated with purchasing a home, whether it's your first home, your second home, your 10th home. Doesn't really matter. These fees will likely still apply. So I'm going to try to simplify it because I know as a first-time home buyer it can be extremely overwhelming. There's a lot of real estate jargon and things to be aware of, and it can start to sound like you want him to do you so much you could do anything. Now I will have a lot more videos going step by step into the home ownership process and breaking it down so you have a more in-depth idea, but for this video in particular we are just going to be going over the costs so you know what they are, when they're due, and how much, so you get an idea of how much to save and what to expect. So I'm going to break this down in terms of timing, so the order in which these fees are typically due. So grab your pen, you know what, pause this video, go grab a paper and a pen, and let's get started. Now the first cost that you will incur when purchasing your home is your earnest money. Now this is pretty much just a security deposit that you as a buyer would need to put down to represent that you have good faith to buy the home. This is a step in the process where you and your realtor have gone out, you went shopping for homes, you found something you absolutely love, you're ready to make an offer. This lets the seller know that you are ready, you are not playing any games, and you definitely want this home.
No. I'm for real. I'm for real. So you better check yourself.
Now your earnest money deposit is typically 1% of the sales price, but this can range between 1 to about 3%. So just verify with your realtor because it can depend on the seller. Your security deposit is non-refundable unless your realtor includes some contingencies within the contract, and I'll go ahead and list them above. This protects the seller in the event that you back out of the contract within a certain time frame. So if you're looking to waste the seller's time, you're essentially going to be wasting your own money. So only put down your earnest money if you definitely love the home and you're looking to move forward with the process. If the home is good to go, then that deposit will go towards your down payment. So it's nothing that you are really losing. Next up is your inspection fee. Now this is an upfront cost that is used to assess the condition of your home. After you've placed an offer on the home, it is time to hire someone to thoroughly inspect the home for things that you may not catch with the naked eye. I'll go ahead and list them above. It's important that you select a good, reputable inspection company. You don't want to go cheap with this because purchasing a home is a large investment and you want someone who's going to really dig in and check everything that you need. Your inspection fee can range between $200 to $500 and can be even higher depending on the size of your home. So just keep that in mind. It's going to cost you a whole lot more if there's an existing or potential issue within the home when you could have just walked away from it initially or made the seller aware of the issue once it was confirmed in your inspection. So definitely super important. Following your inspection, normally within a couple of days, wow, that was rude, you will need to pay for your appraisal. Now your appraisal fee is another upfront out-of-pocket cost that is used to assess the value of your home. So the factors that determine the value of your home include its location, the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, if there's been any upgrades, the landscaping or curb appeal, the age of the home, and also the comparable homes in the area. So believe it or not, your neighbor's home can actually impact the value of your home. And that's why it gets pretty tricky. If people are selling their home for under its true value, that can really degrade the other homes in the area. All that is taken into account when the appraisal is done. So talk to your neighbor, make sure everyone is on the same accord. Now, sometimes your appraisal can get bundled into your closing costs depending on your lender. So just confirm with them to be sure, but normally this is upfront and it can range between $300 to $500 depending on the size of your home. All right, now this next fee is optional if you are purchasing a home that is privately managed by an HOA. So within this step of the process, you've put an offer on the home, you've paid for your inspection, your appraisal, and everything came back good to go, you're ready to move forward. You may have to complete an application for the homeowners association, as well as pay for any background or credit checks that they may require. At the end of the day, that's what they're trying to find out, if you're responsible and if they want you to live in their community. So
that's f***ed up. It's life, deal with it.
Now, after all those fees are paid, you're pretty much getting a little bit of a break, because during this time, your lender is likely just getting all the ducks in a row for you to proceed to close. Your lender is going to confirm all of your income and your credit. They're going to look at all of your bank.
You're in my business? Yeah, don't do that.
So by this step of the process, you should already have the money in your account. Hopefully you didn't make any large purchases from the last time your lender reviewed your account information, because that is really going to hurt you in the end. At closing is when you are going to need to pay your down payment and your closing costs. So I'm going to break these two down because closing is it's pretty much a whole other video in itself, but I'm going to try to summarize it as best as possible. Now, your down payment, some of it was upfront because your earnest money went to your down payment, but the remaining of your down payment is paid for at closing. This is your out-of-pocket amount that you are putting down. The amount of your down payment can range between 3 to 20% of the home's sale price. And this really varies because your lender is going to let you know how much you specifically will need to put down, because they will determine your eligibility based on your credit and the loan that you are offered. So I will have another video on the topic of loans, the different types. But in a nutshell, the higher your down payment, the less your monthly costs will be. And the higher your credit score, the less that your down payment will be. So it really just all depends, and your lender will let you know specifically once they determine your eligibility. If you put down anything less than 20% of the home sale price for your down payment, you will be responsible for paying private mortgage insurance, or PMI. And this is pretty much just an additional payment that you make until you've paid off 20% of your loan. Now, 20% is really hard to save if you really think about the price of homes these days. So not a lot of people put 20% down, but if you can get yourself to 5 or even 3% down, that's a pretty good deal. Or if you're in the military and you're lucky enough to be eligible for a VA loan, then listen, you don't even have to worry about any of that. You'll know for sure in the beginning of the process whether you have enough for your down payment, and your lender will let you know also. So by the time you get to the phase of paying for your down payment, like, you have your money, you know exactly how much it costs, and you're good to go. All right, so the next fee that you will incur at closing as well is your closing costs. Now, your closing costs are fun. There's so much that goes into your closing, and if you can negotiate this with the seller, please do so, because a lot of these fees are like ridiculous. So going in, I want to make sure, like, when I tell you these fees, you're gonna be like blown away. So your closing fees can include your application fee with the lender. Now, discuss this when you're initially shopping around for a lender. You can ask them if they have any application fees or if it's already bundled into the closing. So if they have application fees up front, you may have to pay that in the beginning of the process. If not, then you'll end up just paying it at the end. And your application fee pretty much just goes towards the processing cost of your loan. Now that could include your appraisal and underwriting fees. You may pay for the appraisal up front, like I mentioned before, or they may lump that into your application fee. So really just confirm with the lender, and trust me, they're gonna be shook. They're gonna be like, whoa, is this your third house? Because how do you know what to ask me right now? Now your origination fee and your application fee is kind of like an either or. They go hand in hand. Either your lender is going to charge you an application fee, or they may say, hey, we're waiving the application fee, but then you're going to turn around and get some origination fees. And your origination fee is pretty much the cost that goes towards processing your loan. So again, that could be some underwriting fees, administration, or fees for purchasing points. Now I will quickly go into points a little bit. So this is essentially a fee that you as the borrower can use to reduce your interest rate. So let's say the current market's interest rate is 4.5. Your lender can actually sell you points to lower that interest rate.
Hold on. Something ain't right.
So if you were wanting to reduce your interest rate and you had the money to do so, one prepaid interest point is equal to 1% of the loan amount. Now 1% of your loan amount can be expensive, so you can purchase points in increments. Now the other fees that factor into your closing costs include
things such as your credit report, your final inspection, flood certification, tax status research, verification fees, survey fees, title fees,
taxes and stamps. With you're paying for stamps.
Jesus Christ.
Your prepaids. Now I'm gonna stop and go into prepaids a little bit. Now with your prepaids, you're pretty much paying up front for your homeowner's insurance and your interest. So with the homeowner's insurance, they make you pay for, I believe, 12 months in advance, and then your prepaid interest is the amount of interest that you will need to pay from the time that you close to the beginning of the next month. So that's why it's a good rule of thumb to try to close on the last date of the month, because then you can avoid interest for any days between the gap of your closing date and the next month. Now the remaining fees within closing are going to go to your escrow account, and that will include your homeowner insurance and your city's taxes. And all of your closing fees will be detailed in your closing disclosure, which is a document that your lender is required by law to provide to you. So you will literally see the breakdown of all the expenses that I just named. I know that it's a pretty overwhelming document at first, but it is super helpful for really figuring out where your money is truly going. Now, next up in our timeline is your moving fees. So this is typically after your closing date. However, you can sort of begin moving out even before your closing date just to get things ready. So I just added moving fees in here because you may have to pay for a U-Haul or someone to move all of your furniture and belongings, any repairs, any kind of fees that you will need to successfully transition from your old home or your old apartment into your new home. And the final cost will be your monthly payments. And this is something that you will be made very clear of in the beginning of the process when you're speaking with your lender and you guys are crunching the numbers. So by closing, you will know exactly what your monthly payment will be. Now, your first mortgage payment is due the second month following your closing date. So for example, you closed on April 25th, your first mortgage payment will be due June 1st. That's kind of nice in a sense. You get, like, you know, a month free, but not really. I feel like they get you somehow in the end. Of course, that is a reoccurring payment, just like you would pay your rent, you would pay your mortgage every month. With your mortgage, you have a little leg room, so your mortgage is due on the first of the month, but typically you're not charged a late fee until about the 15th. And then lastly, your final expense within the home buying process will be your startup fees. So this includes any type of utilities that you need to set up at the new home, your cable, your internet, any deposits that you need to put down, camera and alarm system, any services that you will need to start up in your new home, you will have to consider those as well. And those are all of the fees, you guys. Again, I will have more videos kind of going more in depth, but I really hope that this was helpful and this gives you an idea of how much you may really need to save for the process as a whole. And I hope that this doesn't discourage you, because I know that everyone is able to do it. Please go check out my how to save video if you need some motivation or tips. I had a part 2, but I deleted it. So if you guys want a part 2 of how to save, let me know, because there's definitely so many more ways that you can save money for this. It's not as dreary and impossible as people make it seem. It took me about 3 months in total to close, so it's definitely possible as long as you guys have your ducks in a row. So let me know what you think in the comments. Please give this video a big thumbs up. That really helps me a lot. And leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you are thinking of purchasing a home, if you've already purchased a home, if you're searching around. I wish you all the best in your home buying journey. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. My nose is so itchy.